Hi, this is Mike from Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and on today's video we're taking a look at a new power supply from Thermaltake. This is Thermaltake's new Toughpower GT 850 watt gold rated power supply. Comes with a 5-year warranty, has ATX 3.1 and also PCI Express Gen 5.1 support. Also supports all those cool features such as energy power saving, is fully Energy Star compliant, and also supports some of the Intel C6 and C7 ultra deep power states, so very good for efficiency there. Also it comes with some really nice flat black cables, fully modular of course, gold rated, and has quite a nice spec to it, but it does also confuse me. As of today's recording date, which is the 4th of April 2025, on scan.co.uk, this particular power supply is retailing for £94.99. But at the same day, the GF A3 also is retailing for £99. So £5 difference between the two. The GF A3 comes with a 10-year warranty and has a Japanese main 105C capacitor, whereas the GT 850 comes with an 85C main capacitor, which is from a different vendor, arguably a slightly lower quality. So ATX 3.1 and PCI Express 5.1 versus the other model, which is a slightly older spec. Very, very strange. I'm not too sure where or how this fits into Thermaltake's current strategy, especially in terms of UK pricing. Now, my thoughts on this are that the GF A3 and the GF range, being that they are quite expensive power supplies to produce, I'm guessing they are going to be experiencing a price rise very soon, and potentially the GT may be the replacement somewhere along the line for the GF A3, or depending where you live and with tariffs, etc., as we all know, which are just being implemented, potentially prices are going to be all over the place. So I would strongly suggest, if you have interest in this particular unit, do check out the links in the video description for the very latest pricing in your particular region, because that is going to have a massive bearing on whether or not I can wholeheartedly recommend this or not at the current time. Anyway, with all that out of the way, we're going to go through, do an unboxing, take a look at what we actually get, and then we'll wrap this up with some of my final thoughts, although realistically you've probably heard most of my thoughts already. But anyway, let's go through the process. This is an unboxing channel after all, so we should unbox it. So let's start off first of all with the packaging. As you can see, this is Thermaltake's pretty usual packaging here, and this is the Toughpower GT 850 watt gold rated fully modular power supply. Again, specs on the bottom, PCI Express Gen 5.1, so that's got the new 12 volt 2x6 connector on there rather than the 12 volt high power, which is all a little bit confusing, but this is basically the newer and safer version of it, and this one is actually rated up to 600 watts on the cable, which is awesome. Also, it's got ATX 3.1, so that is going to include some of your power excursions. So part of the new ATX 3.0 and also 3.1 specifications are the fact that you can have up to roughly about 3 times the power excursion for very, very brief milliseconds, and it will cope with it. So that is essentially what it's designed to do. And the same applies to the PCI Express Gen 5/5.1. That is designed to kind of cope with power excursions of up to double the rated value. So potentially up to kind of 1200 watts for a very, very brief millisecond, and it shouldn't shut down the power supply. Also, this includes a smart zero fan design. I actually do like this, the fact that you can choose whether you want to have the power supply to keep very, very cool or whether you want it to run silent. That choice is effectively down to you. There is a gradient where after around about 40 degrees Celsius, the fan will kick in regardless. So yeah, just to keep things nice and cool and obviously keep it protected. Part of the design for this new power supply has a DC to DC design and also supports LLC. As we said previously, this is a fully modular cable design, and it comes with that Thermaltake 5-year warranty. In terms of the dimensions, I'll show you that now. So you're looking at 86mm by 150mm by 140mm. So if you have a somewhat compact chassis and you don't have a lot of room for cable management, not only does the modularity help, but also that very shallow depth of 140mm can be very beneficial. On the back of the box, again, it's going to go over some of the key features, which we've pretty much covered in depth already. Again, 80 plus gold certified with up to 90% efficiency. They do actually do this particular power supply now in various regions. So you've got the US version, you've got the EU version, and also there is the UK version. So that means that you're going to get the best power efficiency for your particular region, and also you will get the appropriate power cord. If we look at the specs on the back for the output, so it does live up to the hype, so it is 850 watt power supply, although it barely misses out by 0.4 of a watt, so it's got a 70.8 amp on the 12 volt rail, which is the important one for most of us gamers. So that's going to give you 849.6 watts, which for me is pretty much close enough to call it an 850 watt power supply. So now we can take a look at the power supply itself. So it comes in this nice outer sheathing or protection. So you can pull that off and you can reveal your power supply. And it's actually a really nice looking unit. I do like the way that Thermaltake have changed the design. The GF3 and the GF A3s had a very kind of odd mesh, which in some instances actually created turbulence inside the power supply or resonance with the fan. So it's nice that they've come away from this. This is the design they've been using primarily with their SFX models. I find it to be very, very good for thermals because it's considerably more open, so allowing some more natural convection, which is going to assist with the silent technology or the zero fan technology. So let's take a quick listen to the fan noise you can check out for yourselves. Okay, so this is a sound recording of the Thermaltake GT 850, currently in silent fan mode. And I'll put the microphone approximately about 6 to 7 inches away from the fan. This is the sound of my voice now, so you can get an idea of the difference in the sound levels. And now it's been turned off and my microphone will get a little bit louder as I put it closer to my chest. So there you go, there is a sound recording of the Thermaltake Toughpower GT 850 watt fully modular power supply. So there you go, I don't think that's too bad at all. Yes, there is a noise to it, but depending on your environment, obviously this is wide open. If it was actually in a PC and face down, as they generally tend to be, a lot of that's going to be muffled up by possibly case filtration or just by the surface that it's placed on. So yeah, in terms of noise levels, I think it's going to be absolutely fine. So taking a look at the back of the power supply, so we've got two switches on the back and also our mains power input. You've got the on-off switch and also you have the smart fan mode. If you turn the switch to the off position, it means that the smart zero fan is off, which is a little bit counterintuitive, but yeah, if you turn it off, it means that the fan is spinning all of the time, just to keep it nice and cool. If you turn it on, it means that it's not going to come on unless the power supply gets up to around about 40 degrees Celsius, in which case the fan will start up just to protect itself anyway. On the sides, we've got some logos and some badging, so Thermaltake Toughpower series, and you can see all the specs on there, etc. Also on the top of the unit, so we've got a detailed sticker which basically reflects what we've seen on the box already, so I'll give you a close-up of that so you can check it out for yourselves. Again, mentioning the 5-year warranty and the 80+ gold rating. Something which I actually like is the new design they've got here, so a slightly newer layout on the back of the power supply for your modular cables. So yeah, it's all been a little bit condensed, whereas it used to be all spread out at the bottom there. Potentially this will be a little bit useful, especially for things like the EPS cable, which when it's in your power supply, that's going to be easier to access along here. And taking a look at the connections we've got here, so the top one is for the motherboard. Then underneath that, you've got a host of peripheral connections, that's the 6-pin ones. And also you've got 4 of the CPU EPS stroke PCI Express outputs. And also you've got that new modernized 12 volt high power, which is not 12 volt high power. It's really difficult to not say that anymore. So this is the 12 volt 6x2 connection, the new PCI Express Gen 5.1. When it comes to actual accessories inside, so you get the UK power plug, which isn't always a given when you're buying a power supply these days, especially here in the UK. You also get some screws for attaching it to your PC case. You get a couple of cable ties to aid with cable management. And also you get the user manual, user guide that tells you all about the power supply, etc. So next we've got a bunch of cables to look at. So let's take a look at those. So first of all, we've got our main motherboard connector. So this is your 24-pin power connector. Also it separates into a 20-pin or 20+4. That one, not too bad at all, and comes in at a length of 550 millimeters. Next, we've got our EPS or CPU supplementary power. These are actually pretty decent. You get 2 of these included, and they will split from the 8-pin into the 4+4, and they're clearly marked up CPU and PSU, so you know which end goes in where. These are 700 mils in length, which is nice to see that little bit of extra length there, especially if you've got a slightly larger tower case and you want to get the cable right up to the very top without having to kind of stretch it across the side of your PC. So it was hard for cable management. So yeah, get 2 of those included, which is cool. When it comes to the PCI Express, the older style connections, so this is the 6+2 or 8-pin, however you want to look at it. So you get 2 of these cables included. Again, labeled up clearly, PSU and PCIe. Each one of these will connect up to 2 parts on your graphics card. So if you've got a kind of like a 3-port one, or that uses 3 sockets, then you'd have to use 2 of these cables and use one of the piggyback connectors. And these come in at 600 mils from the power supply to the first connector, then an additional 150 mil between the 2 connections. Next, we've got our SATA connections. So we've got 2 SATA cables. So both of these have 3 connections on each, so giving you a total of 6 connections. You're looking at 450 mil from the power supply to the first connection, then an additional 150 mil between each of the subsequent connections. And last of all, we've got our accessory or Molex connection, as is otherwise often known. These are actually really good ones as well. They've got nice little push tabs on there to get them apart nice and easy. This one's 450 mil, and again, there are 4 connections on this one, so that's 150 mil between each of the connections. And next up, we've got our PCIe Gen 5.1 12 volt 2x6. This is a 600 watt rated cable, and it measures in at 600 millimeters in length, which is pretty long for a Gen 5.1 cable. Much appreciated. For those of you that are interested, we'll take a look actually inside the power supply now, so you can take a look at the main boards and the DC to DC conversions, etc., and also some of the capacitors. Like I said, this comes with a slightly cheaper version of the capacitors that we saw in the GF3 and the GF A3. So this is using an 85C main capacitor, which is a Chinese one rather than being Japanese, which Japanese generally tend to be preferable, although you can get cheaper Japanese caps which aren't as good as more expensive Chinese caps. It's a little bit of a murky water, and depending on which caps you got and where you come from and how well they've been implemented, yeah, it's a murky business, it really is. I'm actually looking forward to someone like Cybernetics taking one of these in and giving it a full test. I don't have the ability to do that here. I can just go by my own personal opinions and kind of previous experience to give you some sort of idea of what I think about this power supply. I've got to be honest with you, it looks like it's extremely well constructed. I do like the new grille on there for airflow. I am somewhat of a sensitive person when it comes to noise from PC fans, power supplies, pumps, all that kind of stuff. So I do appreciate a low noise solution, and this seems to be doing quite well. The tone of the fan is definitely different from the GF and the GF A3s. This, I think, is a better solution, and I'm hoping that they'll implement this type of design actually on the other power supplies, the older versions, as they kind of update them. It'd be nice to see like a GF4 or GF A4 range using this type of design. I think it works out much better and is significantly better for cooling. So that kind of leaves me at this odd position at this specific moment in time, whereas pricing wise, this doesn't actually seem to make a great deal of sense. And going from scan.co.uk, which we've got some links for, the price difference of £5 doesn't really seem like it's a justifiable thing. I would certainly go with the older technology and go with the ATX 3.0 and the PCI Express Gen 5. I think it's nice to have the newer technology in here, but for the difference in price and the 5-year less warranty, that's a pretty bitter pill to swallow, in my opinion. Now, if this is an uprated design, I don't really see why they can't give it a longer warranty, again, being that the price is so similar. Now, I have checked it out also on amazon.co.uk, and strangely, amazon.co.uk is a little bit cheaper again, so about £88, so about another £7 saving. So potentially then, there's a reasonable gap between the two, but certainly I think I would probably still pay the extra money. Again, this is at the day of recording, which is only what I can base it on. Depending what happens in the near term or even the long term, pricing is going to change. I think we're all pretty much aware of that, especially with what has happened towards the beginning of this month and the tariffs, which are now being implemented through various countries. So potentially pricing is going to be all over the place. So all I can say is, like I said earlier, do check out the links in the video description. Check out the local pricing near to you. If there is a significant difference in price between the GF3 or the GF A3 and this model, then if it's a big enough gap, then I would say go for the GT. If not, you're better off just paying a little bit more money, in my opinion, to go with that longer warranty. Ultimately, it's going to be down to you guys what you want to do, whether you want the newer technology or whether you want the slightly older technology, which is still great, but a longer warranty. Some people may sleep a little bit easier in the knowledge that they've got 10 years to fall back on. 5 years is still an awful long time, and especially in computing terms, 5 years seems like an absolute eternity. But ultimately, I guess it's going to be down to you and your local pricing, as I said already numerous times. Anyway, I've waffled on for way too long. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you have, smash the like button. If you want to see more content like this on a daily basis, maybe consider hitting subscribe and the chime notification. That way you'll be notified of future video releases. But for now, I've been Mike. This is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To. And hopefully we'll catch you in the very next video. Thanks for watching.